what first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's where we build Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome to the Breakdown, episode 748, sponsored by Midnight. That's right, and check me out tomorrow as I go and maybe my friends go into Midnight City. That's right. Every week we go into Midnight City, we check up on our AI agents and see what the hell they're doing. Polymarket is the official prediction market sponsor of the DG brand. Shout out to Polymarket. We'll look at some stuff on Polymarket. Real-time data, that's what we're talking about. Cake Wallet, shout out to Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet, one of the most secure wallets, one of the most secure hot wallets out here in our industry, okay? Shout out to that entire team. And again, congratulations on Radar Chat, which I'm using. It's really cool. You should get it yourself. Go to the Apple Store, download it. Radar Chat. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, my people? Come on, get excited. Get excited. I want to feel the enthusiasm. If you haven't reshared, you have not reshared my stream, whether it's on X, whether it's on TikTok. Shout out to TikTok. Love you, baby. Whether it's YouTube, Getter, Truth Social, wherever. We're verified all over the place. If you are not sharing this, if you're not sharing this with your best friend, with your grandparents, I don't care if your grandparents went to bingo today. You tell them I am live. I am live. And bingo don't matter. With 12 to 2, it don't matter because David is live. That's right. Bingo don't matter when David goes live. Bingo does not matter. Does not matter when I am live. By the way, let's take a look at. Let's take a look at. Wait, hold on. Before I'm going too fast. Let me slow down. Okay, let me slow down. I went ahead and posted out a tweet today. I posted a tweet out today. Here's what I posted. I said the chains, the blockchains, okay, for those who don't understand, the chains that embrace meme culture will own the next cycle. That is fucking facts. The chains that embrace the meme culture will own the next cycle. You already seen it. You already seen a little sample of this. By the way, you want to save your chain, you need to hire me as the head of meme culture. I will take a chain and I will make sure that it has visibility. 100%. Another clap, a round of applause for myself. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is... Anyway, I'm excited right now. I'm excited. Y'all might see red today. A little red, a little pullback. That's okay. That's healthy. That's healthy. By the way, I got to get Leonidas on from Dog on Bitcoin. We'll get him on. We'll have a conversation. Maybe we'll get him on tomorrow. I don't know. Or for Monday. I'm going to reach out to Leonidas. Don't worry about it, Dog fam. Okay? I know what time it is. I have everything written down. I know what I need to do. Okay? I promise you we'll go get him on here. And we're going to have a popping conversation. Shout out to everybody who tunes in, regardless. Okay. You're looking at the markets. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Bro, it's one day. Bro, it's one day. It's not even a day. It's a few hours. This is good for you. By the way, I don't have any channel. I see in the comments some crackhead is talking about, I'm glad to be on your Telegram channel. David Gokshin. I don't have any of this shit. Okay, so like if you fall for this shit, that's on you. When you see this shit, because I've seen it and I blocked it and tried to report it. If you see somebody telling you, come check out my Telegram channel, I don't got no assistant. I just saw also accounts popping off. David Gokshin assistants. I don't got an assistant. Okay? I don't got no assistants. And I don't got no goddamn Telegram chat like that. So if you go in there and there's somebody pretending to be me, first of all, that is it is difficult to be me. So you can right away spot somebody trying to be me because there's no way that they could bring this energy. I bring this energy every single minute of the day. So you should be able to spot that. Okay? You should be able to spot that. Don't let these scammers get you. Okay? Don't let these scammers get you. Don't let them. All right, so obviously, this is an opportunity. And I'm going to keep saying this. We might correct one more time before we go absolutely parabolic. I'm going to say this again. We might have one more correction. Maybe we don't, but maybe we do. And you will have a chance to use your government checks. And what I mean by that, your welfare checks, you might have an opportunity to use that welfare check to buy something that you've been looking at. Though I'm already DCAing into things that I like. I might buy on this show today. I might buy things on this very show today. I'm being serious about that. The whole head of meme culture. 100%. Like I will take any legitimate chain obviously you gotta come with the right price. But I could take any chain, and if you make me the head of meme culture, you will see that your fucking product will have visibility. Bottom line, your product will have visibility. 100%. Your product is hurting because you refuse, and I said this yesterday, to embrace the meme culture. Others are doing it. If you are doing it, they understand it. If you really want to see your product, you want to have your product be seen by the masses, embrace the culture. Embrace the culture. Yo, I might CTO Ethereum. You know, that is crazy. People are asking me, what exchange do I use to buy Bitcoin? What exchange do I use to buy, some of my favorite memes? You know what? I'm a free agent, baby. Don't worry, I'm in talks right now. I'm in talks with a few people. And when we get to that point, I will let you know. Pax loves me. This guy Pax loves me. I was one of the first. Do you not know I'm like the OG of memes? There is nobody that could take that title away from me. I am the OG of memes. By the way, it is really disgusting that I have only 339 followers on my pump.fun page. Disgusting. You should be embarrassed. Honestly, you guys should be fucking embarrassed. 339. Is this what I deserve? I probably deserve this. Honestly, I deserve to have 339 people. You know why? Because I'm not doing my job. It's on me. Maybe my message is not coming across. Maybe you're not feeling what I got to say, even though I've been pretty much on the ball for a very long. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. It's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. You should be ashamed of yourselves. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Let's look at the markets, man. Actually, let's look at my wallet and then we'll go to the markets. Okay, let's look at my wallet right now. What is my wallet full of? By the way, I think I might make a buy. I think I'm gonna buy something. Oh no. Thinking of buying something. Because I want that was the whole point of the wallet. That was absolutely the whole point. The goddamn wallet. Let's go right to the wallet. Here's the wallet. You should be ashamed of yourselves, man. You call yourselves diehards, man? Ashamed. I would be ashamed. Look at this. Look at this. 339 followers. 339 followers. What is this? What is this? What is this? Unreal. Yo, you know what? Maybe I should buy. You know what? I'm gonna buy something right now. Okay? I'm gonna buy something right now. Hold on. You know what I'm gonna buy? I'll put this. Hold on. I'm gonna buy something. Hold on. I hope this is the right thing though. Verified. Okay. Hold on. Let's fuck around today. No. Well, really? I'm gonna be mad cheap about this. Hold on, I'm buying. I'll buy something. Okay, here we go. I'll make a buy. make a buy. Here we go. I'm buying something. All right. There you go. That is, I said I'm buying. I said I'm buying. But I bought something. There you go. I bought something. I'm gonna buy things that I like, because this account was all about buying, and then it turned into this whole thing here, and then everybody wants me to save the memes, everybody wants me to save the culture, and David's gonna have to step up and do so. Okay? Yeah, you know what? How is everybody like, I don't get it. There are some accounts that have like 60,000, 30,000 followers on Pump.fun. Why am I not one of them? I might do better on like fucking, I don't know, FOMO or some shit. Anyway. 341. Oh my God, we got 2 followers now. Added onto this stream. This is crazy. I bought just now, for those who don't know, I just bought 1 troll. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, I bought 1 troll. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about that. I bought 1 troll. That's right. I bought one troll. There we go. They can never say I don't troll hard. They can never say I don't troll hard. Welcome to the breakdown, by the way. And you know what? I guess with that, and I've been saying this, like I wanted to use the Pump.fun account to buy some of my favorite memes and give them a spotlight, a real spotlight, where the meme is broken down, the history, the lore of the meme, why it has relevance within our ecosystem. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to get back to. Okay? That's what I want to get back to. And I don't think a lot of people do that. I don't think a lot of people do that or know how to do that. I know how to do that. So I will do that. So there you go. I feel like this is a draft, okay? The first selection that has gone into my wallet, my first purchase, was 1 troll. Chess, not checkers. Chess, not checkers. We'll be right back after this commercial break. We'll talk more about the markets. We'll get more into this. I just want to get the commercials in.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh, wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy to use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. We're back. So again, first purchase in that wallet was Troll. Also, we will do a giveaway. I don't know what's happening with X right now. I just want to make sure we can do giveaways. I need to grok this and see if we're allowed to do a giveaway, because I got the go ahead from Cake Wallet. I don't know how many, I don't know how many people will do this for, but anybody who has Cake Wallet and is using Cake Wallet can show a screenshot of using Cake Wallet, will be eligible to go ahead and get or be a part of the giveaway. I don't know how much I'll give away, but we'll go ahead and do that. Maybe this week or maybe next week. We'll go ahead and do it. Or maybe during the weekend. Maybe I'll do a pop-up show. I don't know. Why is this guy Elvis saying lame? What's wrong with you? What happened to you, man? Did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, man? What's wrong, man? You're supposed to be happy. You're in crypto. You're not working. You're not working right now. Okay? You're collecting checks from the government right now, and you're watching me live right now. Why are you upset? Why are you upset? What's so hard about your life right now? What is so hard about your life, Elvis? Tell us. What's hard about your life right now? Besides that PFP. What's wrong? You're living the life. You got the government sending you checks and you're memeing your ass off. What's wrong, man? Everything's going to be okay. You stay tuned into this show. I promise you everything's going to be okay. You'll be okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. Friedman said, got internet access on the Obama phone. Shout out to that one. You know what? I might make a second purchase here today. Let me do that right now. Let me make that second purchase here today. Because I talked about both of these things. So might as well go ahead and make the purchase. Hold on. And nobody should feel left out, man. Nobody should feel left out. Let's go ahead and make that purchase too. There you go. About to make that purchase here. There we go. Made. There we go. Did it again. Because that's what the account was about. That was what Pump.Fund's profile page was about. We have now. This is like, I feel like this is like the draft. I feel like this is the draft. I need, hold on. I need like that music. Hold on 1 second. I need to get that music. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Where the hell is it? Let me find it. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Give me one. I will find this shit. Where the hell did I the fuck? Where is it? Hold on. Oh man. Where did I put this? This sucks, man. Man, this sucks. Anyway, the second pick for the DG squad. The second pick for the DG squad is Bobo. There you go. Bobo is the second pick. We should have like the NFL draft where you can see the meme and like you know what I'm talking about when you see the player running around like hey like the elite speed and I should do that for the meme. You know what? I need to do that. That's what I'm going to fucking do. That's what I'm fucking going to do. I am going to do that. I'm gonna see if I can go and make these little videos displaying what's up. Oh man, shout out to the Bobo crew, man. The Bobo boys. Listen, I don't know how many picks I'm doing today. I just felt like, you know what? Let's get the things that I'm in. Let me buy the things that I'm in and that I'm super bullish about. You know, let's do that. Let's do that. And we'll talk about, you know, where the markets stand and all that good stuff. I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna say this again. Any chain, all these chains need to understand that if they do not embrace meme culture, they are cooked. They're gonna have a hard time because people are going to say, well, how many people do you have? What kind of audience do you have? And you can probably name them on one hand. You need to embrace meme culture. You need to make your chain poppin'. You need to make it a fucking atmosphere. I swear to God, head of meme culture, I'm right here. This will probably happen too. I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna contact me and say, hey man, listen, we'd like to make you the head of meme culture. We would like to make you the head of culture. Like that label right now, if anybody else talks about this shit, I was the first one to mention this. I just want you to remember, it was me. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. No wonder he's homeless. He's homeless. This guy's homeless. First of all, there was no soft shilling going on. Zero. Nothing dropped, nothing endorsed, nothing. You're mad because you're a chaser and you're a gambler and you believe in nothing. You believe in absolute nothing. And that is why you live with grandma, okay? Another motherfucker that lives with grandmother. Another motherfucker that wants instant gratification. Another motherfucker that I have never seen. For the first time, Elvis grew some balls. He came into the goddamn chat and he wants to talk to me and tell me what to do. Nah. That's not the game we play, dickhead. Anyway, welcome to the breakdown. I don't play that game, homie. Why don't you feel bad for me? Why don't you feel for me, man? Don't feel bad for me. No, I don't feel bad for you. I don't feel bad for you. I absolutely don't. You are the reason why the memes suck. Or I should say the meme environment sucks because of you. You are the problem. You are literally the problem. It's because of you. It's because of you that people don't believe in the memes. Because of you. It really is. I want you to know that. Nobody likes you. I don't like you. And I don't care how you feel about that. I hope you feel some sort of way about that. Somebody said, do I have enough of poo? Yes, I have enough of poo. Yes, I do. It's one of the only things that I'm still bullish on the Ethereum chain. Okay? By the way, I don't want to, like, look, I'm not trying to, shut the fuck up and get the fuck out of here. Go get a job. Go flip a fucking pancake at IHOP. I don't give a shit what you think. Deflect these nuts in your mouth. How about that? You can give a fuck less. Thinks he's gonna get me to go ahead and feel some. I don't got feelings, okay? You got feelings. I'm not emotional, bitch. Okay? I can give a fuck less. You can stay in this room, cry like a little bitch, and I will be here roasting your ass. Grow some balls. You're the problem. You're the problem with the meme economy. You're the guy who trades for $3.33. I'm not angry, bitch. I'm passionate, and I'm airing you out. Okay? Not angry, man, because I could throw you out this goddamn chat, but I won't, because you bring me money. You bring me money, so I will never throw you out. You will sit here and you will watch me, okay? You will watch me because nobody knows you. If I don't mention you, you disappear. Yo, people don't understand. I don't get angry, man. The fuck gets angry? I'm a New Yorker, man. We don't get fucking angry. We troll your ass. How pathetic is it, man? You watching my show and I'm roasting you in the comments. That is sad. That is sad. Listen, use the government check that you get from my taxes. Use that government check, okay? Use those SNAP benefits. Go get yourself a meme, okay? Go get yourself something that you believe in and hold it longer than 13 seconds, okay? Now, I would probably say, listen, you know what? Let me stop. I feel bad now. I feel like I'm being a bully. And I don't like to be a bully. I don't like to bully people. You're not nobody. Elvis, and I mean this. Look at me. I'm your daddy. You will never, nobody will ever live rent-free here. Never. Never. I don't have feelings. I just like this. Like right now, I like abusing you. Crazy to ever think that. He's laughing in pain. He's in pain, laughing. Let's bring in Landy while I'm looking at some stuff. What's up, you puppet?
What's up?
What's going on? Hype! I need more energy, Landy.
Yeah.
We are sending Landy to the green room. We're gonna try this again. I want Landy to come in here with his balls, with actual balls. Let's see. Hi, Landy.
Hi, David. How you doing? What a
There we
great
go.
fucking day.
There we go.
Day. Wow, today is that day that I've heard about for years.
What is the day?
It's the most amazing day.
What day?
You know, you always hear you're gonna have that one day that changes your life.
And what
today
is that?
that day.
What day is that?
It's Wednesday.
It's Thursday.
It's Thursday. I'm still living.
I thought it was Wednesday today also, but then I know I have CJ from the People's Reserve coming on.
Okay.
I believe it's at 1:15. So I was like, oh shit, today's Thursday. Holy shit, how did I forget? So
Yeah.
it was I thought it was Wednesday. You know what it is? Rob Nelson fucked me up yesterday.
How's that?
I gotta tell you, it's one of those shows you go on and yes, I gotta say, truly confused yesterday. Like that was the first time I've ever been on the show where I didn't even know what the fuck I'm supposed to talk about.
Well, he's getting everything that he wants, but he's still unhappy. He's like most of crypto.
Yes. Yes. Anyway, I don't know if you were here. I made 2 purchases into my wallet. I bought 1 troll and I bought 1 Bobo. So
One whole troll and one whole Bobo. Look at this baller over here. Holy crap.
1
Wow.
Bobo equals 1 Bobo, 1 troll equals 1 troll, right? That's
Yeah,
what the people
yeah.
say, right?
Yeah, there's 1 dog equals 1 dog, 1 Doge equals 1 Doge, 1 Solana equals 1 Solana. Yeah,
1 sheep
absolutely.
equals 1 sheep, right?
Yeah, yeah.
1 Pepe equals 1 Pepe.
Yep.
So
One.
I'm sticking
One
to my
whole-
Jewish roots. I'm sticking to the Jewish roots.
Well, so if you bought 1, plus fees, so I mean, you're supporting, the network and the token.
I am supporting the memes. By the way, like I said, I'm telling you this is going to happen. I have now, and I wrote this tweet out 2 days ago, or I think it's, or yesterday. It was yesterday, sorry. About meme culture and having the head of memes or the head of culture on your protocol. I'm telling you right now, that's going to happen. Somebody's going to reach out to me if they didn't already, because I haven't checked my messages at all. And they're going to say, you know what? I understand where this motherfucker's coming from because our chain is dead. We need people. We need people to build on this. Because you've created these, they've created all these chains, all these protocols, created all this shit, right? They've created all this stuff. They need people to build on it. Am I right or wrong?
Well, yeah.
Okay, so what? But nobody's building on it. Nobody knows about it. And they refuse to embrace meme culture or culture in general. So, you know what? To prove that I'm right, I'm telling you, like within a month's time, boom, XYZ is going to be known about. I don't know. I'm just saying. And by the way, if anybody, I'm telling you right now, if anybody uses the head of memes or the head of culture, I swear to God, you just jocking my style, son. Like, period. Jocking my style on my balls. Balls has been a big topic here this week.
The lack of, or
Yeah, some of them, the lack of balls, the lack of conviction. I'm telling you, I don't know how many times I have to say this. I sit back, I write shit down in this book. I'm watching day 17 or 18, whatever this is, and I'm just writing down who is here supporting and who isn't here supporting anymore. Do you understand how badly I'm going to troll these individuals?
yes.
I'm going to literally troll these individuals because they are the epitome of what is wrong with the current culture. And I hate people who play off like they're a part of a movement, they care about a movement, and then they disappear after 3-4 days because they're on to the next one. They are the problem. And we should showcase that. By the way, what I don't like either, and I'm not defending anybody, like I said again, I don't know Ansem. I don't know him through a hole in the wall. I don't know him. I just don't. But everybody was riding with him. And now, have you seen the chart?
Yes.
And now everybody has come out the woodworks to say whatever they're making up. Whatever it is that they're making up about. And you know what? You're allowed to speculate, do whatever the fuck you want. Here's the problem. I'm going to explain the problem. You have, as I'm sitting back here, it's not just watching people who are bullshitting and talking about how they want a movement, they want to be a part of the next Wall Street Bets movement. I'll never fade David. I know what he's done. Wall Street Bets movement part 2 coming through. I love this. And then gone in 4 days. Forget about that being written down. I'm watching this airdrop bullshit. Okay? Respectfully speaking, look what's happening with the airdrop meta mechanism in there. So long-term, from a long-term perspective, I do believe there is some positive in it. Short term, no, because you have people you're rewarding people that are not down for any cause. For them, they see money. They see, I can now take this, sell it, and go buy something else. Then they don't give a fuck about whatever the movement's about. They don't give a fuck about the meme. There is nothing. There is nothing, no feeling for them to stay with this. So you can be a nice guy and do it. Yeah, look at what I'm doing. I'm airdropping. But they're selling. And now you have massive sell pressure, which there's nothing you can do about. Listen, it's the market, right? The market's going to decide and do what the market's going to do. But if you hand broke individuals money, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to flip it. And I'm talking about the broke-headed motherfuckers in this space. They're going to flip it. And then they're going to start pointing at the individual like, look, you see? See? I told you. And they're going to start doing that because the more pressure applied now, maybe, just maybe Ansem drops more air, does another airdrop. And maybe they get a second airdrop. Pressure apply pressure. That's what broke individuals like Elvis want. Apply the pressure, get an airdrop, sell it so he can go get, and he has enough money to eat at IHOP or McDonald's or Burger King. He probably likes Five Guys. You get enough of that, put pressure and then point the fingers. It's fucked up because somebody might be trying to do it the right way, but it doesn't work here. Why are you laughing or sniffing? Was that a laugh or sniff?
I'm kind of laughing. Snicker. It's a snicker. There's a lot of people, especially in this part of the market cycle, that want to pitch to believe when all they're looking for is a quick flip. And that's, you're seeing it with Ansem, right? You're seeing people exit, come to the timeline, told you all that it was just going to dump out, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, you go back in their timeline, if they've actually left it up.
Yeah.
And, you just see them relentlessly shilling, it's going to go to 1 billion, right? And, it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then now it's, it's all over. It's, I really don't, I've said this before about airdrops. I've said it publicly many times. I'm not a fan of airdrops. And I'm not saying that this is, the perception will always be for a lot of people, especially people who've been here for a long time, is that airdrops are a good excuse to distribute to your own wallets as a project.
Yeah.
And whether that's true or not doesn't matter, right? It just doesn't have, because people are going to flip anyway, and they're going to sell free money, right? Go ahead, send me free stuff, dump it out the other side, and that ends up being sell side pressure. And then of course we already know of many examples of teams that send side wallets during the airdrop, a bunch of supply.
Yeah. You had one guy unload 12 million tokens of Ansem.
Yeah.
And whoever this is unloaded in different wallets to avoid slippage and stuff. So this is what you're looking at. Like this is look, I'm not saying people can't sell. Like the conversation isn't about you can't sell, right? Because at some point people are going to take profits. Okay,
Yeah.
and that's fine. Like, no, this is not
But airdropping is just extra pressure because people are going
Correct.
to take profits anyway. So
The people you're airdropping don't give a fuck about you. And they don't give a fuck about your platform. They don't give a fuck about your brand. They don't give a fuck about the movement. They don't give a fuck about anything that you talk about. They see dollar signs. That's it. Because like, look, the position, if you get airdrop, let's say you get airdrop like, I don't know, $50, right? It's not really big, right? It's not a big, if you hold on to it, could it grow? Yeah, but like, no, these people don't got time for that shit. They're moving on to the next meta. So besides the people that are holding and that want to take profits, like you said, you got additional pressure coming from people. And this is something that everybody should have learned from Luca when he did the airdrop with Pengu.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, it really, like, how much sell pressure happened?
Yeah, I mean, it was all sell pressure. This is,
But he's trying. Luca was doing the right thing, right? He was trying to do the right thing. Like, hey, I want to build. I already have the Pengu family, meaning like I already have the Pudgy Penguins that roll with us within the ecosystem. We want to expand, and I understand the philosophy of it.
Yeah.
But we're in this space where people just like they're ready to sell within the first 13 seconds of receiving. You know.
Look, it's good for distribution, it's good for marketing, but it is short-term excitement for long-term sell side pressure. Right? So and I get the ethos. The ethos is very similar to how companies IPO, right?
Yeah.
It's in terms of, and I'm not talking about tokenomics vesting schedules and that kind of stuff, because that's really, those are copies of basically IPOs with cliffs and all that kind of stuff. And then you see some things that are trying to do things differently. Even the IPO sector itself with SpaceX is changing a little bit with how they were doing unlocks for early investors and shares and stuff like that. So it's great for distribution, it's great for marketing, and it is a long-term view. The problem is that in this space, most people aren't here for the long term in terms of memes. They've been flipping memes. The ethos of hold a meme was cyclical, right? So even when you go back to think about Doge, it was about getting it before alt season, right? And then when alt season run, we get all the runners in alt season, Doge goes up, people flip out of that, go in and buy Bitcoin, and then that cycle, kind of, essentially washed from Bitcoin to altcoins back to Bitcoin. And we live in a different environment now. And I think people woke up to that when we started getting institutional spot ETFs, is that now you have a whole bunch of money that's rotating within a market that's not coming back to the smaller stuff that's on chain, right? Because it's all fiat rotating in the traditional markets over there. And we basically stayed the same size within the native crypto side of things, because all that extra growth happened outside of the native crypto space.
Yeah.
So now people just get into memes, and it's about how quickly is it going to go up. It's not about how I'm going to hold, because nobody's confident in an alt season. They're just waiting for memes to move with Bitcoin so that they can rotate into whatever it is that they want to hold longer term. But the people who have won in the meme space aren't necessarily the flippers. Most flippers actually are losing money in aggregate. I think forget, I'd have to go find the thread. Somebody did a really good analysis, kind of a when Bitcoin first dropped out and Solana dropped pretty hard down to the 60s.
Yeah.
Somebody put out basically a good analysis of the cohorts of people who made money, and it's the people who actually got in early to the ecosystem and held on to things and just kind of swept up a bunch of stuff along the way and just held it. And flippers, by and large, lost a large amount of money. Obviously, people who just rugged things walked away with a bunch of money and a bunch of targets on them. And then, of course, the outsized beneficiaries of all of the activity during the meme coin cycle was the platforms.
Yeah.
The platforms made a killing. And, about 1% of people actually made money. And out of those 1%, it was people who were early to projects and held on until they pumped. And what it was about time period too, because once we were already well within the run and it was just rotation, more people lost money than ever before in aggregate. And the platforms made the most amount of money because it was just, It wasn't like there was no time by the time you catch something, unless you're in groups that are passed around CAs or you got a CA early. It was just, most people are just left chasing. But those who are in things that they just kind of sat on them, they actually benefited, but it benefited a lot of people who were early before the actual narrative got rolling, before everybody was talking about memes again, and before Bitcoin actually really started to make progress to the upside.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, Pump Fund kicked off the craze, and there was, a very low amount, a very low percentage amount of people that made a bunch of money. I got to find the actual post. It was a really good post. And the because it broke it down by time period and like where price action was and how short-lived it actually was. I think a lot of people think it like lasted a really long time, but the rotation season like really kicked off, and that's where the most amount of volume was, but that's where the biggest amount of losses for people trying to flip in and out of things was. Because it was just flip one thing, rotate to the next popular thing, and then the thing that they just flipped out of starts to run. So they dump the thing they just bought on the highs over here to chase, and the pump's already over there, right? And it's unfortunate, but that's why you have to have conviction. You load up in the bear market and you wait. That's it.
And
Really.
that's why I talked about this earlier. So like the markets are moving, they're not green today, or at least the last time I looked, they're not green. So I think like for me personally, I'm looking at everything and saying like, okay, like did I buy enough? I could also wait. I also said we could have one more leg down. We could. But bullish sentiment is still here. The bullish sentiment for me personally is still here from the sentiment side of things. Charts, different story. We could go down. Could we go down, by the way, one more time or no?
Oh,
And
absolutely. Yeah. No,
so
we haven't set like we set a lower low on the monthly. We broke structure of an area, on most charts to the downside on the monthly time frame. One of the interesting things though that I will say is that's
what's the
Bitcoin.
possibility?
It's a very high percentage chance that we have another leg down for lower
So
prices.
and where does it bottom? In your opinion, if you were to give a number, which we will not hold you to, what do you
Well,
think that
it's
number is?
well established where I'm looking next. I take it one step at a time. Mid 50s to 48 to 50K with a potential high probability to find a low, not the macro low, but a low at 45.5 or somewhere around there. Realistically, if you wanted to pin me down to an exact bottom call, I'm of two minds. Um, there is there is the possibility that we sweep for lower prices, but realistically, this area becomes the macro low or somewhere around it after a sweep to lower prices. I've mentioned this to you many, many times before. There is a good chance of that happening somewhere around the mid 50s. You sweep it, close back up, set the low. It's a lower low, take out the lower high at 82.8, and then we start to shift structure on a monthly. That actually is a setup that is presenting itself right now. Is it the highest probability setup at this particular moment in time? No. The more high probability setup, in my opinion, at this particular moment is that if we do see that we don't see progress to the upside, we don't see a low set, which would have to be at 74K as it stands right now. Next month it will be different. When I'm talking about on a monthly, then this is a move still in motion with a lower low and just put in and locked in a lower high as of last month's closure, likely targeting on the low side for me 38,500 to 42.2 for me personally if I was going to call speculative bottom areas of interest. But realistically, if we start to leg down on the daily from here and we get a sweep in the mid 50s or even low 50s and pop back up and start to change structure in and around these areas, you could see this local area around price action within the you know, within $10,000 or maybe a little bit more to the downside become a macro low, but that's not what's being presented on the chart right now. This is a move still in progress to the downside until proven otherwise.
You know, and I respect, obviously, I respect everything that you do. For me, like, I'm starting to get images in my head of what was happening where people were last cycle, where it was, we're going lower than 15.5 kind of thing.
Yeah, the 8 to 12K crew. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, it's not you. I'm not, obviously, I'm not pushing
I
it towards
fought with
you.
them. I fought with a lot of them on the timeline and yeah.
But that's what I like when I hear 38, 42, stuff like that. I feel like you like I feel like we end up somewhere in the middle and then we bounce. Like in my head, because I guess I've seen it so much that it's somewhere in the middle of these numbers that are being thrown out, and then you bounce.
Yeah, look, I if we were going to repeat, so there's obviously I have a thesis for where I think things are going to go, determining, because we had lower percentage returns over the prior market cycle high, right? So above $69,000, we went to 126. That's an 82, almost 83% increase, right? And when you have decreasing returns to the upside, usually you're going to get those decreasing returns to the downside as well. So for me personally, last cycle and for just about every cycle, we've seen a little bit less movement to the downside. Last
Yeah.
cycle was 77%, right? It wasn't the 80 to 85% range. Um, and this is where, many people are going, well, probably then like 70% or this or that, or, if cycles repeat, then we should go down, maybe 75%. But I prefer to take it level by level. And, is there a possibility, although I am not of this opinion that we see the same type of a downside move that we've seen in prior cycles? Is there always that possibility? Sure, yeah. But that's going to give you your 25 to $30,000 Bitcoin. I don't see that particular setup coming to fruition. Um, personally at this particular moment in time, but it's also not something that somebody can go out there and confidently say would never happen, right?
Yeah.
But
Look, I'm
my
not saying
opinion
that
is,
these things are not gonna happen. I'm just saying that I've become so accustomed to where I see the number always kind of like hitting in the middle. You had the 8 to 9K, K crew for Bitcoin, 7, 8, 9. I remember that. And then it hits 15. And you had some people that also said they wouldn't go to 15 or be it'd go like it end at 17, 18. Like I remember these things. And then it hits somewhere in the middle
yeah,
and then it bounces. And like nobody could say, "Oh, you didn't call it right." No, like listen, I don't expect anybody to call the bottom or top. It's very difficult to do that. If you come close to it, it's fine. Like that's a win. If you're $3,000-4,000 away from the bottom or top, I'm good with that. I respect you.
yeah.
I think some people get in like they feel some sort of way. Their ego hits when like somebody says like you didn't call the top or bottom, and like they try to push as hard as possible as close to these bottoms or tops. Like you don't need to do that. Like for me personally, if you come $5,000 to $7,000 close to whatever it was, I respect the fuck out of you.
Well, here's the thing is because there's people here who were very confident that the cyclical nature of price action for Bitcoin was over. And therefore they equated that to the 4-year cycle is over for Bitcoin and therefore over for crypto because where Bitcoin goes, the rest of this market goes. And and realistically, there was just never a good case for that to be made. But where I think that the people who are stuck to the 4-year cycle may find themselves surprised is that, we have had changes to the way price action has played out. We've had a lot of very similar things. Like, for instance, we topped on the very same day that we did, in the prior cycle. So this was something that many were looking at October 6th, and we got the October 6th top. So that's evidence that, we're doing the same type of price action within that 4-year cadence. And realistically, it is a part of it is habit driven and distribution driven, because there are so many OGs in crypto that adhere to the cycle halving theory of when they buy and sell, and that's the way they move, right?
Yeah.
So in no amount of we don't have sufficiently distributed tokens to institutions where they can, really prevent some of these OGs from really depressing price. And but one of the things that, as we see more adoption by institutions, what it does is it will smooth out the ride to the upside and downside. And we saw that to the upside. We had like long periods we would run, and then a long period of a drawdown into a higher low, right? We had a for Bitcoin in particular, we had an all-time high prior to the halving, and then we spent the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months going down, sideways and down. And then we had 3 months of 3 to 4 months of up, and then it was down for another 3 to 4 months, and then another 3 to 4 months of up, and then it's been straight down into a bear market since then.
Yeah.
But we didn't just go straight up, green candle after green candle after green candle, like the years prior, which is, by the way, which is what you don't want to see. It's not healthy. It's a big market inefficiency. So, and
I'll-
I made the case to you when we put in the all-time high that if we broke down from 74.4, that there was a good chance, because we were in a high time frame compression, that we could see a deviation of that trend and then right back to the highs. But obviously going through a bearish period or bear market, and then, have a significantly cooler, meaning less aggressive to the downside bear market, that then kind of tries to resolve back to the upside later. So basically, volatility kind of being killed to the downside. And we're right in that institutional
Yeah.
block. So I could very easily see mid 40s, whether that is the absolute wick low. I think that we get a close in and around the mid 40s. And if we do swing lower, if you're going to nail me down to absolutes, 38.5 to 42.2 is an area that I'm interested in, but that doesn't mean that it can't form right here, right now.
Again, I think it will be somewhere in the middle, and I think if you haven't already, like me personally, it's DCA. It's sad. I don't even sell my Bitcoin, so like I don't know. It's DCA anyway. I want to agree with somebody in the comments. Airdrops to people are on. Hold on. Airdrops to people is unfair to holders. I kind of agree with that also, right? So like for people who supported, if you ever talk about airdrops, like that you'd want to reward or say thank you to the people that have been a part of shit. Like if you were ever going to entertain that. But again, I sit back and you look at the whole system, and you're just like, the more control you have, the better chances you have of winning. That's just the way I think.
Yeah. Look,
Because as soon as you start letting go, like the market is funny. This market is absolutely funny. And again, it's proven me right. Everything that I've been saying has proven me right. If you just go ahead and look at everything that's gone on. Look at everything that's gone on. Just look.
this is
And
the
now
time. This is
he's
the
allowed-
time where you want to be here. That's all. It's really simple. This is the time when you want to be here. This is the time when you want to be accumulating, is here and lower. That's it. It's very simple
airdrop on what? On Bitcoin?
on everything.
Oh, that
Everything that you've identified is good for your portfolio. If you want to experience the fun of a bull market, then you want to be here now,
yeah.
and you want to be DCAing into your conviction plays, whatever those are, whether
For
it's
sure.
memes, whether it's majors, whether it's new tech and new projects and new chains, whatever.
That's for sure. We'll be right back after this commercial break, sponsored by Midnight.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh, wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome back to episode 748, sponsored by Midnight, sponsored by Polymarket, Cake Wallet. Shout out to all you guys. I read the comments, by the way. Boring is good sometimes. Boring is good sometimes. It makes people a lot of money, like the whole boring situation. So just wanted to address that real quick for those that are not entertained by people breaking down at what levels you could potentially get yourself into to see yourself be put into a great position.
What that
But it's
shows
okay.
me, what that shows me is that people aren't serious about actually making life-changing
Most
money.
people are not here for Bitcoin though. Right now, people are here because this is what I've been saying though, and this is like true to what I'm saying. It's respectfully to whoever is saying whatever, but people aren't here for Bitcoin right now that are coming into the space because the way they're thinking is hold on, I'm going to take $65,000 and put it into one asset when I can potentially take $65,000, 64, whatever it is right now, and I could spread it across and potentially absolutely make more gains. So like people don't, I love my audience, but some of them are, it's all about instant gratification, respectfully. And also, like, you know what? You sit back and you think about it. Do I want to take 63,000, 64, 5, 62, whatever it is right now, and put it into one thing when I can spread it across a little bit right now and potentially make more money than having it in one? Like Bitcoin's the safer play, 100%. But could I make more money if I take that money elsewhere and allocate it elsewhere? Maybe. Potentially you could.
I used to say this in jest, but I was being serious to Hina, for instance. I used to say this to him quite often, and that was Bitcoin is your daddy. If you're not paying attention to the direction that Bitcoin is headed, then you are going to sit around and wonder why if Bitcoin is headed down and the thing that you are in is headed up, and it starts to dump off aggressively, and you're sitting there wondering why. Well, you can look at Bitcoin. Where Bitcoin goes, the rest of this market is going to go. And when
Yeah.
Bitcoin bottoms out, memes are going to be front running that. I've maintained that that's going to be the play again, just like it was last cycle off the lows. That you don't have to go and get Bitcoin. You don't have to be a Bitcoiner. But if you want to make money, you better know what's happening with Bitcoin. You don't have to care about it. You don't have to hold it. You don't have to subscribe to the ethos or be a Bitcoin maxi. But you better know where it's going.
Yeah, for sure. Landy, as always, and we might bring you back later on today, but as always, it's always good to go ahead and chat it up with you. Don't mind the people that are into gratification. One day they will see the light. One day they will see the light.
I need better haters. The haters that I have right now suck.
I love you, Landy.
Take care, David. Thanks.
Take care. That's Landy, man. If you don't know, if you guys are crazy, man. I know that you guys don't tune in. Some of you guys don't tune in to Landy, man. And Landy drops knowledge, man. If you want to know about the markets, you want to be ahead of the markets, you really do tune in to Landy. Let's bring in somebody else though right now who I've talked to him. He's been busy. He's been fucking busy. Well, let's go ahead and actually chat it up now. CJ, what's going on, man? Pleasure to have you on.
Hey. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be on. Thanks for bringing me on. Excited to be here.
Congratulations on, though. I've talked about this a lot on the program. I heard you absolutely fucking killed it at the Bitcoin 2026 conference. So shout out to you, man. I saw a little clip of that also. It got sent to me. You absolutely destroyed it. So congratulations, man.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it went over really well. And, it translated into our launch week. Today is day 11. We have breached over $270 million of mortgage demand domestically here in the United States. And we are now over $112 million of international mortgage demand. And we don't even have an international mortgage product. So people are looking at what we're building. They're like, create a wait list and put me on the wait list because when I can get it, I want it. So the response from the community has been absolutely amazing. Especially, I heard some of the talk that you guys were having with Landy, and sentiment is not the best it could be right now, right?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't expect a lot of Bitcoiners to be coming out of the woodworks, but they are, and it's to the tune now of almost $500 million.
You have your product, People's Reserve. What has been the response by Bitcoiners? Let's stick with that. What has been the response by the Bitcoin community? You were at the Bitcoin conference. Besides the Bitcoin conference, in the last few months, what has been that?
I think there's been two really exciting things that have taken place. Number one, Bitcoiners learn from our mistakes, right? One thing Bitcoiners love to do is they like to study and they like to do good due diligence, and any investor should be doing that. And when they look at my story, they go, look at this guy. In 2019, he paid 100 Bitcoin for his single family home. And that Bitcoin was worth over 12 million. Even right now, it's worth over 6 million. My house isn't even worth 500 grand. So they look at that lesson and they're like, oh my goodness, what a hard lesson to learn. And then they look at People's Reserve and they go, okay, so he's actually solving a problem here. And I'm facing the problem that he faced, which was I've been a responsible saver of Bitcoin. I do trades, I do investing, and I take my profits and I park it in Bitcoin. I use it as a savings technology, but I don't want to spend it because look at where the marketplace is going. It's very obvious. We can all feel it in our gut. We know what's about to happen. There's about to be a huge liquidity rotation, and we're going to get out of the overpriced AI cycle, which led to a lot of financings and build out of the industry. And we're going to see that liquidity cycle, not only from AI and stocks, but also from the money market funds as interest rates start to go down. And that liquidity is going to come right back in to risk assets. And I wouldn't classify Bitcoin as a risk asset, but surely Bitcoin and crypto from the mainstream financial world are considered risk assets, but they'll be on the receiving end of this liquidity rotation. So we know we're going to have increased purchasing power. We know we don't want to sell our Bitcoin to buy a home. We don't want to watch what happened to CJ happen to us. So you know what? Let me learn more about this Bitcoin mortgage. How does this work? How can I unlock the purchasing power of my savings without giving up ownership of my Bitcoin savings so that I can keep the exposure to the upside, but at the same time today, increase my quality of life and standard of living by getting the home that I want and by making payments and building equity instead of paying rent and being somebody else's yield. So that's the first thing I see the Bitcoiners, it's just clicking. The light bulb has gone off. Like I said, we're over 270 million of mortgage demand. It's only day 11. So it is on and cranking. But the second thing that's going on, and it's something that I find extremely interesting, is that, me as a long-term Bitcoin maxi, what that means to me is Bitcoin is money and nothing else can compete with it. So like Landy was saying, you got to know where Bitcoin's going, right? Because Bitcoin is the tide that lifts all ships. Everything is based on Bitcoin. And when I first started in Bitcoin in 2013, when this new project was hitting the scene called Ethereum, the value proposition of Ethereum was that it was to complement Bitcoin. It was not to compete with Bitcoin. The narrative we see today of Ethereum trying to be money that competes with Bitcoin and has a burn rate and all this proof of stake and all this other stuff, that did not exist. When I sent my Bitcoin into the Ethereum ICO, I was buying Ethereum because I knew Ethereum was going to be used to facilitate smart contract transactions for Bitcoin. It was going to evolve Bitcoin from digital gold to pristine collateral, right? And we didn't want to do to Bitcoin what Bitcoin Cash did. We didn't want to make the blocks bigger and sacrifice decentralization so that all of a sudden what happened to Bitcoin Cash happens to Bitcoin. It destroys the use case. You have to be decentralized. It has to be cheap to run a node and to participate in the network. So how do we take this digital gold and evolve it and use it within financial transactions, especially when all of the bankers think that we're scammers and they don't care about Bitcoin. It's not a collateral, right? You go to the bank and you say, I got some Bitcoin I'd like to borrow against. They laugh you out of the building, especially back then. So we knew, hey, there's just going to be a smart contract network. And in order to execute the smart contracts, I need Ether because that's the gas that makes the system go. And Ether was there to complement Bitcoin. Well, at People's Reserve, we have a loyalty program. And the best way to compare it for your audience is to say, number one, if you've used Nexo. So I'm sure a lot of your listeners have probably used Nexo before. They understand how when you hold a Nexo token, you can qualify to get better earning rates. Well, People's Reserve doesn't do that. You don't put your assets on People's Reserve and earn money. You come to People's Reserve to borrow money. But our loyalty program is designed to lower your borrowing rates, to lower your cost of capital. And you can think about it like if you go to a traditional banker to get a mortgage, you can put up cash to buy down your interest rate, right? Matter of fact, in the existing home affordability crisis we have right now, new home builders do this very often. New home builders go to their own mortgage agency. They pay down the rate for you in order to make the home more affordable so that they can sell it to you at a higher price.
Correct.
And you can buy down your interest rate. But at the end of the loan, that's it. That money you spent buying down the rate, it's gone. At People's Reserve, you can buy down your rate in our tokenized free market loyalty program. And at the end of the loan, you can sell it back. I think it's really interesting and is really exciting to see Bitcoiners understand, yeah, you know what? Let's get back to what crypto was supposed to be, which is to complement Bitcoin, which is to move forward the goal of breaking free from the traditional system of fractional reserve banking, where a small group of men can determine and dictate what the interest rate is by what they say based on some meeting that they have and whatever data dependency they're looking at. Let's get back to free market. Let's get back to the supply of money, demand for loans, and most importantly, risk. And what we do at People's Reserve is we directly address the risk component. And we do that by saying, you know what, when you come to us, you go to a bank and you say, I promise I'm going to pay you back. And they say, that's fantastic. You can borrow at 6.5%.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't it make sense to you that if you come to People's Reserve and you say, I promise I'm going to pay you back, but also I'm going to post Bitcoin as pristine collateral to further reduce your risk in case I don't pay you back.
Yeah.
People's Reserve can turn around and say, well, that's fantastic. We'll lend to you at a lower interest rate, right? Doesn't make no sense in the industry right now. You borrow against your Bitcoin, you're paying more than if you just go make a promise to the banker. What the heck? Make that make sense. So this is common sense. This is getting back to the first principles of economics, the fundamentals of finance. And when you have property title plus pristine collateral plus the promise of the payer, you have reduced risk. And when you have reduced risk, you can get a lower interest rate. And Bitcoiners are absolutely loving it. And by the way, our PRN loyalty token, the token that you buy to lower your interest rate, it's going amazing. It did launch at 21 cents. We had a fat finger dumper in the beginning, bring it down to 1.50 pennies. But in our public sale, we sold it at $0.01. It's up, at one point it was up 1,400%. Now it's up 800% in the last 11 days. We've done over $1 million of volume, and the rest of crypto is dry. So what are people seeing? They're seeing that there's an opportunity here for a real world use case. We like to say it this way, David. We say, don't speculate, calculate. Do not come and buy the PRN token because you're speculating that in the future there's going to be some use case, or in the future, it's going to be worth more. No. That's not what this is for. Hop on our website, open up the calculator, type in your personal numbers, whether you're buying a home or refinancing a home, and see how much money you're going to save. If you go to the banker and you borrow $500K at 6.5%, you're going to be paying roughly $4,000 a month. You can pay down that rate. You can pay $50,000 and pay down that rate, and maybe you're paying like $3,500 a month. Well, if you come to People's Reserve and you do the same thing, you buy down the $50,000 of PRN, your rate goes from 6% all the way down to 3%. Your monthly payment goes from $4,000 down to $2,000. That's $2,000 of savings per month. In 2 years, you've completely ROI'd on your investment without the price of the token changing whatsoever. So now we're seeing real world use case, not based on speculation, but based on calculable economic benefits, and not based on something that's competing with Bitcoin, but instead on something that is complementing Bitcoin, the original movement that got me so passionate about Bitcoin and decentralized finance. Finally, now, years later, coming to fruition in the ecosystem that we were able to produce.
CJ, by the way, welcome to the Breakdown, episode 748. I'm live here with CJ from People's Reserve. Man, if you want somebody to break that, see, this is what I'm talking about. When somebody has a product, and you build something, I have had people come onto the show that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Here you got CJ. He's like, A to Z. I know you ask me any question, kind of. I can't even ask a question. He's already on a roll. CJ, do you have people? So I want to know this. Do you have people coming up to you, even from the Bitcoin world, confused, not even knowing that they could have done this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. A lot of people come and the light bulb is like dark and they're hitting us with questions. I mean, my support team is absolutely killing it because the amount of inquiries we have is absolutely amazing. And we're getting hit with like 5, 10. There was even some guy who put in like 15 questions, but he's on X and he's documenting like his whole journey with us and the whole experience for customer service and the product. So it's like, it's fantastic because we actually have a real world product. And it is, there is a little bit of a knowledge gap, which is,
Yeah.
it's, for me, it was based on my experience that gap was filled. But that's why we put the calculators on the website. You pull up those calculators and you pull up a banking calculator, you type in your numbers, you look at your monthly payment here, you look at your monthly payment here, and all of a sudden it becomes a decision of, do I want to spend more money per month or do I want to spend less money per month? And what gets me to be able to spend this less amount of money per month? What does that investment look like? What do I need? Okay, I need some Bitcoin. Okay, if I want the best interest rate, by the way, our lowest interest rate, 1%. You can fully over collateralize. So you borrow, let's say you're going to buy a $500,000 home. You can put up $500,000 of Bitcoin and you can let it appreciate over time. And that will naturally, we will adjust your interest rate lower as the Bitcoin appreciates. Or if you have the Bitcoin, you can put up 1.5 million with a 33% LTV. You can buy the $50,000 of PRM, which is like buying down your interest rate.
Correct.
You're borrowing at 1%. Now all of a sudden your monthly payment is like $1,200. You go to the bank, your monthly payment is $4,000. What are you going to do with that savings? Are you going to invest it? Are you going to spend it? You can do whatever you want with the savings. It's your savings. And those calculable economic benefits, that's what sets off the light bulb. And once the light bulb goes off, that's it. It's the light bulb's on, you get it, you see it clear as day. It's almost like taking an orange pill, except it's a People's Reserve pill. And it never goes away. And they're getting super passionate. We've even had a couple of fund managers. So this is the most exciting part, David, because this is what I think this is what's so important about not just what People's Reserve is building, but about the complete integration of Bitcoin into the traditional system. We are seeing the financialization and integration of Bitcoin. What does that mean? That means the next wave of adoption is quickly approaching. And it looks like that wave of adoption is actually going to be synced up with the next wave of liquidity. So watch out, because diminishing returns could very well be put to rest. But we're having regular people who heard from a family member or a friend coming to us and saying, I saved up $100,000. Took me like 6 years and I had to get lucky in a couple of investments, but I saved up $100,000. And now I don't want to rent anymore. Every payment I make, I want to build equity. I'm going to buy a home. If I go to the bank and I put down the $100,000, the first problem is that that equity value is in the home. So the home is only ever going to appreciate or depreciate based on inflation and interest rates. The second thing is I'm still going to get stuck at a 6.5% rate if you're got high credit, and you can qualify for that. By the way, 6.5 is the best rate you can get when you're playing golf with the banks or with the bankers on Sunday.
Sure.
Everybody else is getting 7% or more. It's not friendly out there. And by the way, at 6.5 to 7% over the life of a 30-year mortgage, you will pay more in interest than you did for the price of the home. That's a very hard pill to swallow. Yeah. Now they come to People's Reserve because they saw an interview, they saw a clip, they heard it from a family or a friend member, and they found out, wait a second. So if I bring my $100,000 to you, I can buy Bitcoin, I can use it as collateral, and I can get financing right away at 6%. Then I can buy the points off my mortgage by buying the PRN token, and I can lower my percentage to 3%. And then the equity I have in that Bitcoin is working for me to pay off my debt. And if Bitcoin does a 30% CAGR, I don't have a 30-year mortgage. My mortgage is paid off in 8 years. And if Bitcoin doesn't do as good as what these maniacs are saying, and it only keeps up with the stock market and does 15% CAGR, I'm debt-free in 14 years. Excuse me, sir, I think you're lying to me. And then they get, we hold their hand, we pull up the calculator, we show them how everything works, and they walk away from that conversation really, truly trying to understand, how is Bitcoin putting me in a better position than me being a responsible saver and going to the bank and getting a mortgage? And once again, it's the light bulb moment. Once that light bulb goes off, oh, I get it. By me posting Bitcoin as collateral, I'm reducing risk for the lender. Therefore, the lender does not need to charge as high of an interest rate. Wow, that's powerful. And that, to me, David, is like, that's the eureka moment. Because the Bitcoiners, they get it, and they get it really quick. But the regular people who have never touched Bitcoin, they've never touched crypto, they're scared of it. They stay away from it. They have their, they have financial planners, and they have a 401k, and they have a retirement, and they have this and they have that. They don't want anything to do with it. Now they're looking at it and they're saying, wait a second, this is solving my problem. The problem is I can't afford, if I go to the bank, I'm going to end up with an 1,800 square foot house. And if I have another kid, I'm screwed. They're going to have to bunk up. If I go to People's Reserve, I can get a 4,000 square foot house, and I have plenty of room to grow out my family. That's solving a real world problem. And it is it's leveraging the characteristics of Bitcoin as engineered money to solve real world problems that is going to lead to the next wave of Bitcoin adoption.
Do you feel like you're first to market with this product? Because I feel like everything's first to market, but do you feel like you're like with this product, with the People's Reserve, are you first to market to get outside of, look, we know in Bitcoin spaces, we know about it. Are you first to market out there to the normies?
Yeah, we're first to market for Bitcoin and the normies, because our mortgage, what makes our mortgage so powerful, there are no margin calls and no liquidation risk. People's Reserve, that was our idea. So recently, I think Coinbase partnered up with Better Homes. They allow you to borrow against your Bitcoin for a down payment, and then you get a mortgage. Then you have two different loans going on at the same time, two different debt obligations. There's a lot of work there balancing and juggling what's going on. We worked with DLA Piper, a fantastic, they're popular for winning the Facebook lawsuit. Great international law firm. Highly recommend them. We worked with them to create 50 individual contracts that are eligible in each state. So we are the only Bitcoin company that can actually do a Bitcoin mortgage in all 50 US states. But on top of that, no margin calls, no liquidation risk, and the ability to get lower interest rates. Because even the Coinbase mortgage product, which was, when that launched, I was like, oh, this is great, baby. You can't pay for this type of marketing. Like, this is just free marketing. Our people, our community were commenting on there like, no thanks, we'll go to People's Reserve, because it was just, the value proposition is not comparable. Because sure, you can borrow against your Bitcoin to get your down payment money, but you got now you have your loan against your Bitcoin, plus you have your mortgage. You have a lot of different variables there, and you're borrowing at a higher rate than if you go to the banker. With us, our rates are lower. We are able to lower the rates. And I think, David, that's really where the magic happens with People's Reserve. People's Reserve is partnered with TrueFi. So your listeners can go to truefi.fund to figure out how all of this is happening. But our mission was, we need to detach from the fractional reserve banking system.
Yeah.
We cannot build a Bitcoin product on the traditional market yield curve. And for people who are like, what the hell is this guy talking about, yield curve? That just means what the interest rate is, from the federal funds rate, the overnight banking rate, to the treasury bills, which are 1 year and less, to the treasury notes that are 2 years all the way up to 10 years, to the treasury bonds that are 20 years plus. And you create this curve where the short-term rate is lower, the long-term rate is higher because of duration risk. But those prices are set by the central bankers. So why can a central banker tell us what the price of Bitcoin is? The price of lending money, right? Interest rates are the price of money. So if a central banker can tell you what the price of lending against Bitcoin is, they are setting the price. That's not free market. Free market is not when you set prices. That's price controls. So we said, how do we detach ourselves from this? How do we price the cost of lending against Bitcoin without having to depend on the central banking fractional reserve system? Well, we do that through the TrueFi infrastructure. And I mean, what is so exciting about that is we are building what mortgage-backed securities were supposed to be. So these AAA mortgage-backed securities that led to the 2008 great financial crisis, because banks wrote ninja loans, no income, no job application loans. You didn't need to have a job. You could buy a $600,000 house. They packaged all these loans. They wrote the loans. They packaged them all together, and then they sold them as a fixed income credit product to the pension plans, to the retirement plans, to the credit investors. And they really skinned them over, right? That's why we had to get bailed out, because it was really, the banks didn't hold the debt. They sold it to the American people, and the American people would have gotten the rug pulled on them. So we had to bail it out. Well, TrueFi packages together our Bitcoin mortgages and issues a sound money mortgage. The sound money mortgage is the real AAA mortgage-backed security fixed income credit product that makes mortgages investable again. So this entire ecosystem, it's not just empowering the Bitcoiner who's the borrower, it's just not securing the lender who's facilitating that purchase, but it's also powering the $300 trillion real estate market to transform equity into Bitcoin and then to take that debt and sell it into the multi-hundred trillion dollar fixed income market where you have low risk and high reward. And when Fannie and Freddie aren't forced by the presidential administration to buy mortgage-backed securities and investors themselves start buying mortgage-backed securities, interest rates will come down. The affordability crisis will disappear. And that's what our true mission is. We want to empower Bitcoiners to unlock their purchasing power without giving up ownership, with no margin calls and no liquidation risk. We want to secure the lender by reducing risk. And we want to create a credit product, a true AAA mortgage-backed security for fixed income investors who are looking for low risk and high reward. That is the magic trifecta that I believe is going to transform real estate investing.
Are you affiliating yourself with any big time real estate brokers so they can go and, mention to, their people who are buying houses like, hey, there's an option here that you can go ahead and take on?
Yeah, so part of our ecosystem is called the DREAM Team. It stands for the Digital Real Estate Association of Members. This is a nationwide team of licensed real estate agents who are also certified in Bitcoin-powered finance. So they join on the DREAM network, they get tested, they get study modules. So if you're a listener and you're a real estate agent and the market's a little dry right now because of where interest rates are, come join the DREAM network. It's very affordable. The splits on the commissions are way better than what you're going to get from Opendoor. The cost is way cheaper than what you're going to get running Zillow ads. And we got hot buyers who are ready to move today. You will get recommendations of people who are ready to move today. So we're currently onboarding agents nationwide in order to service our clients. We're certifying them with Bitcoin-powered finance certification so that they can hold the hand of the customer, feeling comfortable they understand each component of the contract, because it is a brand new contract. Part of being a first mover is this contract's never been used before, ever. Yeah. This is the first time in the world that a contract like this will be used to acquire real estate. So the answer is yes. We have an entire network of real estate agents nationwide that are ready to service our clients. And from the agent's perspective, these are buyers who are ready to buy today. These buyers are not just shopping. You're going to get connected with the buyer and they're going to move fast, especially because with our product, the lower the Bitcoin price is, the better. Because as Bitcoin price goes up through the bull market, interest rates come down even more, your loans get paid off even faster. So the timing of our launch, timed with the bottoming process here, ended up being a real blessing, not only for us, but for the Bitcoiners who are the first movers. One thing I'll add to that, David, is that because you asked about like these brokers and stuff, and I kind of teased it before, but I went off on a tangent, so I apologize to the audience. I have that.
You know what? This is perfect because it gets clipped up. You're laying it out. Like, people are excited. I have even more questions to ask you if you have another additional 10 minutes to stay on.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'll make this one point and then I'll let you rip away. So when it comes to real estate investing, a lot of what happens is, let's say you're doing let's just start you're not like in a fund, but you just have like a syndicate, right? So you found a nice piece of property, you get your family and friends together, you pool the capital together. Maybe you raise, like $5 million. You're going to buy this beautiful multifamily unit complex. It's going to cash flow for you. It's going to hold its value. It's a great opportunity. That's traditional real estate investing. I'm having traditional real estate investors come to us and say, CJ, am I thinking about this right? And I go, tell me what you're thinking. They go, if I raise $5 million to buy this multifamily complex, why wouldn't I buy the $5 million of Bitcoin first, come to you and get the financing to buy the complex? And now I have the Bitcoin working for me, creating value for my investors. I have the property increasing in value over time, and I have the cash flow from all the rental income. Who is going to be able to compete with the returns that I can produce in my fund when I integrate the Bitcoin component? Because if Bitcoin just performs even at like a 15% CAGR, the rate of return for my investors is going to completely destroy the rate of return for the guy who just bought the real estate and just did the financing. Because not only are they paying a higher financing rate, they have no Bitcoin component. So I think real estate investing itself is going to change. And those who don't adopt Bitcoin powered finance and Bitcoin mortgages and put that into their real estate investing strategy, they're not going to be able to raise capital anymore because the rate of return is going to be so much lower than the funds that are actually utilizing Bitcoin as a collateral to lower your interest rate, right? Because rents stay the same. Rents stay the same, but when your interest cost goes down, your profits go up. And then when Bitcoin performs, your profits go up. So real estate investing itself is actually going to be dynamically overhauled by the utilization of our contracts. Thank you for letting me get that point in. I'll shut up now and I'll let you rip away.
No, you know, it is a pleasure to, you know, I get a lot of guests that come on here, and it's no disrespect, but some aren't prepared. I've said that before, and it's nice to have people that come on here and understand their product. You know, if you don't know how to explain your product in 15 seconds, hey, this is not about you. You're just breaking everything down from A to Z kind of thing. But if you don't know how to explain your product, like, I'm not interested, me personally. I'm getting DMs and text messages. That's why I looked at my phone. It's been buzzing. They're like, okay, can we use this product outside the United States of America?
Not yet, but TrueFi.fund, we are increasing right now. We're raising more capital so that we can service international property. Like I mentioned earlier, we were blown away by the amount of international demand, even though we don't have the product. So again, your listeners can check out TrueFi.fund to learn more. And if you want to join our mission in creating a true free market yield curve where the price of money is not dictated by a small group of men, but instead dictated by the supply of money, the demand for loans, and the perception of counterparty risk, become an LP. Join our mission. And you know, I'll let the rates of return speak for itself on the website.
Do you see, and this is another question from the audience. We have shout out to TikTok. We have a bunch of people tuning in. TikTok is giving good questions in the DMs. In the future, do you see yourself, and obviously it's Bitcoin focused right now, but do you see yourself taking on or allowing anything else to be taken on as collateral?
I would say no.
Okay.
And you know, the reason for that is because we look at Bitcoin as engineered money. So, you know, one of the best things that humans are able to do is engineer. And we took, you know, we used to have horses carrying buggies. Well, we engineered the horsepower in combustible engines, right? So now you have an engine with 300, 400, 500, 1,000 horsepower. You know, imagine putting 1,000 horses in front of a buggy. Impossible. Engineering solved that problem. Well, what makes Bitcoin engineered money? We took what we learned from the natural in gold and government debt, because those were the two forms of money, right? We had gold and silver. The problem with gold and silver was it's a horrible form of collateral because you can't easily settle the collateral. So when you transport that collateral to settle with somebody across the world, you have security issues, transportation issues, and all these costs add up, which take away from the ability to make the transaction profitable. So everybody got together and said, you know what? We can't do this with gold and silver. Let's use government debt. Let's use cash equivalents and an internal banking ledger. Then it'll only take a couple days to settle these transactions back and forth. And it was a great solution to the problem that was discovered in gold and silver as collateral. But it created a new problem, an even worse problem that we're still facing the consequences of today. The supply of the government debt, the supply of the cash equivalents could be expanded ad infinitum. And that's what $2 trillion deficit today here in the United States. If you go to usdebtclock.org, check out the world debt clock. This isn't just a US problem. World debt is upwards of hundreds of trillions of dollars. Governments can't stop printing money. They cannot stop expanding the supply of their government debt, of their cash equivalent. So that's a new problem that we face in the collateral system. Right now, treasuries are the collateral foundation, and that foundation is being destroyed. It's being decayed because of the inflation of the supply of the government debt. So the collateral foundation that mortgages and credit and everything else is built upon is crumbling before our own eyes. And we're facing the consequences of that. And then we come back and we say, okay, well, how do we make this better? What can we learn from natural money in gold and silver? What can we learn from experimental money with government debt? And how can we engineer a solution? Okay, well, enter Bitcoin. Bitcoin comes, you know what? What did we learn from gold and silver? Limited supply is a good thing. That's a strong characteristic of a money. Let's make it even better. Forget about limited supply, absolute digital scarcity, finite supply, 21 million, no more. Okay, fantastic. What did we learn from cash equivalents? What's good about that? Well, it's very cheap and easy to settle. You can settle in a couple of days and there's no security issues because it's just a ledger. Okay, Bitcoin comes along and says, we're going to do better than that. How about settlement every 10 minutes? And how about we get rid of this central banking ledger where we have to trust a counterparty and you hold the asset yourself? So 10-minute settlement times, no counterparty risk. Whoa, that is like amazing. We now have an engineered money. We've taken the best from gold and silver and made it better. We've taken the best from government debt cash equivalent and made it better. And now we have an engineered money that's called Bitcoin that is the pristine collateral foundation for the future of finance. To me and to People's Reserve and to TrueFi, nothing can compete with that. And anything that's trying to compete with that is destined to fail. So that's why our whole mission is Bitcoin is money. It's engineered money. It's pristine collateral. And we want to complement that. And we want to build around that in every possible way that we can, because that's where the success is going to come from. The future of settlement, the future. And Hal Finney said this in the very beginning. Hal Finney said, when Bitcoin is truly adopted and it's worth millions and millions of dollars per coin, Bitcoin transactions are going to be as rare as they are today. And in his time, Bitcoin transactions were very rare, right? And why did he say that? He said, because Bitcoin banks are going to be using it as a settlement layer. It's not going to be used as an everyday currency. It's going to be used as a money. And you have to understand the difference between money and currency. Money is a store of value. Currency is a medium of exchange. And when you look at crypto, there's a lot of medium of exchanges. Some of them even try to claim that they're money, but they're not. Bitcoin is the money. And for us, it will always be that way. But if something is there to complement Bitcoin, that piques my interest as well.
And listen, I agree with you on that. I see everything as a compliment, but that's where people go on Spaces and what other channels there are available and start debating all this stuff. All right, last question. And obviously you don't have the crystal ball here, but do you see yourself, doubling or tripling in clientele within the next 6 to 12 months?
Oh my goodness. I think we're probably
on the stats that you currently have internally. Like when you look at everything, do you project that?
Well, we're 11 days in right now, but based on the current growth rate, we'll probably 100x over the next 12 months, and that's if Bitcoin stays flat. So if over the next year Bitcoin just stays at this price, the rate and pace of growth that we have right now, not only of Bitcoiners, but non-Bitcoiners who are interested in taking advantage of the characteristics of Bitcoin, we'll probably 100x our client base. And like I said earlier, we're almost up to $500 million in borrowing demand. It's only been 11 days. So I'm sure a year from now, we'll probably be looking at multi-billions of dollars of borrowing demand. And if Bitcoin goes up in price and the purchasing power of Bitcoiners increases, these numbers can get pretty radical pretty quick.
And you haven't really pushed out a marketing campaign on this. And what I mean from a branding standpoint, you haven't really pushed it out there. So like, we're not even factoring in those numbers that come in.
I hate marketing. I had to be convinced to just do the interviews, but because I believe this, we built our products this way. You deliver value. Right? If someone is trying to sell you something, then maybe it doesn't deliver enough value. So the first thing is like, yes, it's okay. We need education, right? Like People's Reserve needs the market because we need education. People need to
100%.
learn about the opportunity at hand. But once you learn about the product and you see that the product is delivering the value that it's delivering to you, there's no more sales involved. This is why you never hear me talk about our PRN token. I don't need to sell you any. I don't have anything to sell you. If you come and get a mortgage and you want to pay down your rate and get the lowest interest rate in the world for a homeowner, this is how you do it. And by the way, unlike the traditional bankers, when you buy down your rate, when you're done with your loan, you can sell the points back to the free market. You're welcome, right? That value proposition sells itself. So that's why you don't hear me talk about these things, because look at the product, open up peoplesreserve.com, go to the calculator, type in your numbers. If that doesn't convince you, go borrow money from somebody else. Go pay somebody else more than the price of the house that you bought over 30 years.
Which would be ridiculous.
Yeah, it's common sense. At this point, it is absolute common sense. Economic incentives are the invisible hand that moves the marketplace. And when you develop products that provide solutions, those incentives create action. And that's what we're seeing in our platform right now. Massive influx of users, massive growth of demand for the mortgage itself, both domestically and internationally, without even having an international product. The value proposition of the product itself, the value of the solution to the problem that the world is facing sells itself. But I will continue to get out there and go on great shows like yours and talk about the product and try to set up those light bulbs so that people understand, wow, Bitcoin is not just about a speculative investment. Bitcoin is a savings technology. It's an engineered money. And if I use it with the proper financial tools, it can actually increase my quality of life and standard of living. I can save money and then reinvest that money speculatively, or for my family, for vacations, for memories, for experiencing life. A lot of Bitcoiners forget about that. Hodl, 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 hodl.
Yeah.
What? Ask your children, do you want to do a yearly cruise paid for by Bitcoin and we make memories that are going to last you your lifetime? Or would you rather just me hand down some extra Bitcoin to you after I die? Every single one of them are going to tell you, let's go on vacation. Let's make memories. Let's have fun. Let's experience life. And that's what People's Reserve is here to do, to help you use the proper financial tools and leverage Bitcoin in ways where you've minimized risk and you've maximized reward, not only financially, but in your experience in life.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't usually do this, but there we go. Round of applause for CJ. You guys can go to peoplesreserve.com and check everything out for yourselves. Man, you've done a hell of a job. I definitely hope People's Reserve wins out. And I hope to get you back on here in the next month or two to see where it's at. And especially if you have any news that's, more so goes international, because we have a good international audience here, and they're literally asking me, man, this is a dope product. A lot of them hold Bitcoin. So, but once again, I've seen you make the rounds. I think that you've done an excellent fucking job, and definitely looking forward to having you on.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an absolute pleasure. And hopefully next time we can even dive into the Bitcoin bond, because those are our two big flagships.
That's what I want. Let's do that.
The two big flagships, the Bitcoin mortgage and the Bitcoin bond. The world of finance is about to change, and People's Reserve is at the tip of the spear. And I'm happy to bring this information to your audience. You're at the tip of the spear as well. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, CJ. That's CJ, everybody. Go ahead and I'll put it up on the screen here. Go to peoplesreserve.com and you can see exactly can we not say like he broke it down? Like, you guys watch my show. 90% of my guests are great. Like, I love my guests. Then we get somebody who's stuttering up on the product. I think CJ went ahead and delivered. I got to give him another round of applause. I get bullish on that kind of thing. You're calling him AI, but okay, you know what? He's that good, right? He's that good. I usually ask more questions. I sat back. He's just like, he's answering everything that I want to ask. And that's, and when I brought up the marketing and branding aspect, you need somebody like, obviously the founder like him, that is able to go out there and articulate, even in layman's terms, what is this about? Like, think about it. How many people are trying to buy a house? How many people are trying to buy a house? They don't know about this. This is what I mean. He's first to market. People's Reserve first to market with this kind of stuff. I want you to think about that. First to market, they hear, oh my God, I can get rates cheaper than what I'm getting right now, 6, 7, 8%. Where do I sign up? Not only is he helping real estate brokers and real estate associates, not only is he helping you get a house for cheaper, but he's onboarding people into Bitcoin. Like, think about that. Like, obviously I didn't want to break him as he was breaking everything down about People's Reserve. But think about what he's actually also, in a sense, doing for the industry. How can you not support that? You got to sit back and think, how many people are going to go in for the first, and that's why I asked the question about brokers, right? You got famous, you got famous brands out there, selling houses. Imagine they start offering, they're like, hold up. Because if you're buying, anybody who knows about buying property or houses, the real estate broker or agent, they know they have people that can get you a mortgage. What if this gets into their hands? Even some of them don't even know how crypto operates or how Bitcoin works. Imagine they get this into their hands and now they offer this up to their client. Now we have more people coming into Bitcoin. We got more people coming into the industry. Now we're using Bitcoin. I'm excited because, listen, I get to sit back also. You guys know this. This is like, these are conversations. I don't view this as interviews. I view this as conversations. And I got to sit back and just listen. You guys almost made me laugh when you said, "Yo, he's AI." That you made me. I almost cracked. I'm a professional though. 10 years, obviously. I held it together. And no, I didn't fade away and put him on the full screen because I was just like, you know what? Let this man have his moment right now. It's kind of like, when somebody, I've felt this way at times. It's Kobe Bryant 81 points. It's like the shots are going in. Let the man have, or the woman have their moment right now. When you say AI, anybody, when they say AI, like that's a compliment then. Like AI has a higher IQ than most people, not only in this space, but outside of it. So it's like, bro, I did throw one person out. Somebody said paper product, trash product. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Go be miserable somewhere else, man. Yeah, that was dope. That was dope. Because now I'm thinking of what it can do. Respect the fact you get a lower mortgage rate. Respect the fact you can utilize your Bitcoin. I respect all of this. But then you start thinking, like, how many times have I said, how do we onboard more people into Bitcoin? And even into crypto, whatever it is. Like, how do we bring more people into this industry? That right there is one of them. That's outside of this industry. That's a real product with a real use case that goes outside of this industry. It's great to talk about it with us. We could talk about this all day long. We could have kumbaya sessions sitting there with 300 people. Yeah, I know. It's when we get outside of this bubble, that's when you know the product is serious and it's effective. And he's hitting on something that, listen, how many people are buying houses right now? First-time homeowners, like, they're scared to go ahead and buy a house, 6%, 7%. How many people rushed to buy a house when rates were at like 1.5, 2? People were rushing. He talks about using 100 Bitcoin to buy property. Now, I'm on this side of the fence. You know, at some point you got to spend your Bitcoin, but if you have an option, you imagine if you had the option when you had 100 you imagine if you had these options. And I remember when Coinbase came out with their thing. And I'm like, this is all over the place. I call it for what it is. Listen, some people say you shouldn't do that because you'll lose a relationship. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. But these are the kind of projects, these are the kind of businesses I'm interested in because they're outside. And this is what I keep on saying. There are 95,000 projects that do the same thing, but you're not getting outside the bubble, and you're not solving a real issue. You're just not. Let me check out the comments on TikTok's been growing crazy in my DMs. Somebody called it the unicorn. It's a nice compliment. Money making money. No, I great tax benefits. You know, there is so much. There is so much. Like this could be like one of those when I do these podcasts for the 2-3 hour podcast, kind of like the Rogan thing. That I'm like not trying to be Rogan, but I'm trying to have conversations with. It doesn't matter. Household names, non-household, non-notables. It doesn't matter to me. I just want to sit down and have conversations that mean something. This is it. Like there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot. You can't unpack everything in 30. I usually do, 30-minute segments, but I said, fuck this, let it roll. I said he had the Kobe Bryant 81 going on. How can I stop that? How can I stop that? We'll be right back after this commercial break. Shout out to CJ, People's Reserve. Go check it out, peoplesreserve.com. Guys, if you're shopping for a home, if you want to get a home in the United States of America, go look at that. Go take a look. Tell you more. Tell your real estate broker, man, to go take a look as well. We'll be right back.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh, wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome back. We were just on with we had Landy on today. And we discussed airdrops and I'll talk more about memes because this is the segment where I know we're overtime here, but I want to really break down what I see for the meme economy and meme culture and how people should start embracing it. I should go ahead and retweet the room. Why do I say retweet? I still am stuck on spaces, bro. I'm still stuck on spaces, I got to tell you. Well, you guys can reshare. How about that? You guys can go ahead and reshare. Let's see. I won't reshare it. Let's say you guys from YouTube and from TikTok and from X, you guys can reshare this show. You guys can go ahead and do so. Okay? The ultimate goal, I've always said this, the ultimate goal is to make sure that you get Bitcoin. All roads lead to Bitcoin. And I've debated about this. People have brought up, hey, but you know what? Monero, and you got Midnight. Shout out to the sponsor, Midnight. You got Midnight. You got other assets. All roads, and you can have those, but all roads lead to Bitcoin. And I understand this. I'm not dumb to it. A lot of people are like, Dave, man, Bitcoin is $63,000. David, Bitcoin is $63,000. Am I going to take $63,000 and put it into Bitcoin? And I'm like, I can't tell you what to do. I'm not your financial advisor. And they're like, wouldn't it be better though if I took, let's say I just bought $20,000, because a lot of you guys don't know this, but what if I buy a fraction of a Bitcoin? Let's say I buy $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, and then if I got $50,000, I take $10,000 and buy $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, and then with the $40,000, I take 30 and I spread it around in crypto, and then leave 10 on the sideline to go and DCA if there is a pullback or if there is a new asset that comes out there that I can jump into. These are things that you have to think about. I said it to Landy, could you possibly make more X's if you go that route? Yeah, 100%. Could you possibly lose your ass as well? 100%. Most people in this space will round trip because you've never seen that kind of money in your life, so your greed will kick in, and it's not the greed. You might not even be a greedy person, but you'll see these numbers and you're like, you know what? It can go higher. And you start looking at your wallet, you start screenshotting, you're like, holy shit, look, I've never had, but it can go higher. That's where people fail. A lot of people have never made $50,000 in a year. A lot of people have never made $100,000 in their life, yet they have it in their wallets and they refuse to pull out profit. And then when they round trip, they blame everybody but themselves. Guess what? You press the buy button, you press the sell button, not that person. Forget about it. And I talk about this, influencers and KOLs and all the... Ultimately, it's your decision. Anybody who says they've been influenced by this one, that's your problem. If somebody influences you into getting into something, that's crazy. You should be able to, especially with the tools available to you, to research these products. Research these memes, these utility tokens, Bitcoin. You should be able and easy to pick up a goddamn fucking computer, laptop, and use the technology available to you to bring forth a plan. You should be, okay, I enter here, I'm leaving here, I'm scaling out here. I'm being a respectful human being. I'm respectfully taking profits. I'm taking my initials. You should have a game plan. When people ask, what should somebody do when they first come in to this industry? I say, sit the fuck back and do nothing. Take out a piece of paper and pen and start writing. Listen to spaces. Listen to podcasts. Listen. Just take a fucking listen and sit back for 2 to 3 weeks and note things down and then come to some sort of conclusion. It's the same thing I'm doing, hypothetically speaking, when I'm watching all these tokens with supply control. You want to call them creator tokens? You want to call them meta tokens? KOL? I don't give a fuck. Name them whatever the fuck you want right now. But I'm sitting back right now and I'm watching. I'm watching what's happening. I see the pros and I see the cons. And I want to make sure if I ever decide to do this, that I'm doing this where like there ain't holes in the ship. I mean, again, respectfully, look at Ansem. Shit went up to 400 million and now it's the sell pressure has started from people. It's a domino effect. You know, like maybe they don't believe in the mission. And then you have the airdrops, which I think the airdrops are really bad. Like there has to be a way that airdrops work because the airdrops are bad. It's horrific. The sell pressure is crazy. And then there's a side of the argument. Why don't you airdrop people $10? $10. What does that mean? And should people who don't support you or don't support an idea or the meme itself, if they don't support, should people who don't support the meme get airdrop? From a marketing or branding perspective, you could airdrop and bring people in, but that's like 2 out of 10. They don't give a fuck. I didn't say Ansem is not going to be fine. See, like you guys are getting confused. I'm not saying Ansem won't be fine. I think Ansem will do fine. But I think Ansem would have done better without the airdrops. Or at least airdropping people that actually fuck with him. But when you airdrop people that don't give a shit, you get sell pressure. And you get people pointing the finger and fudding instead of supporting and saying, you know what? For no reason, I got airdropped and I just flipped $50 into a cheeseburger with fries and a chicken to take home for the entire week. That's what I'm saying. I'm not a hater. I might not link up with somebody. I might not give a pound to somebody. I might have never met somebody in my life, but I'm not going to sit here and hate. I'm not. I'm just not that person. Unless it's called for, then I will open up my mouth. Then I will let motherfuckers know. I have no problem. I have no problem. I said this before. You don't need me to call anything. If you fuck with that meme, if you think that meme is going to be spectacular, man. One day out of nowhere, maybe I do, who knows? Who knows? I did buy troll today. One troll today I did buy. And I also bought one Bobo. Okay. I did do that. I did do that. I did. This guy says he won't embrace the token because it's in the gutter. And it's embarrassing. Likely. This is where I look at people, and I know 100% that they're not serious. Absolutely not serious. This is somebody who probably holds and wants me to say something, let her run up, and then dump, and then point the finger, come back into the chat and say, see, I told you, it only went to 30 million. Ha ha, look. These are the people. And I'm not doing it for these type of people. I'm doing it for people that, if I do anything, that want to be a part of something cool. Not even his parents know who the guy is. Forget about us. Nobody knows. You don't believe in anything. You believe. The problem is you believe in price, green, number go up. You don't give a fuck about what I want to do. Why isn't he called it after 16, 17, 18 days? Why? Why doesn't he work for me? I'm sitting out here saying, how do we embrace meme culture? How do we bring back the culture? What needs to happen in order for that to happen? How do you make things work properly? And I'm being told, and I'm pretty good at building, and I'm being told how I should be building and at what speed I should be building. If anything, if you believe in me and you love me and you like me and you know that I'm the OG memer, then you have plenty of time. I don't need to rush anywhere because I'm not a part of any meta. I've seen things in my wallet that have gone to 3 million to 1.2 million, and I haven't even said a word. Can you imagine? I haven't even said a fucking word. I haven't endorsed nothing, zero, zilch. Could you imagine? You can bet against me. That's fine. Bet against me. Call me washed. No emotion. What? I don't care. I don't care. None of that. I'm going to tell you something. When you first come in, maybe these words affect you somehow. Because you're kind of confused. Like, what, dog? Like, I don't get it, dog. But when you know what you're worth, when you know that you can build, when you're confident in yourself, none of this shit is going to affect you, and none of this shit is going to make me hurry into a decision that might be catastrophic. Like, I am not about that life. I'm about winning. I want to win. I want to do it for a reason that makes sense. And I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say that. I want to do things that change things for the right reasons. Bring back the culture. Right reasons. That's it. Bottom line. I don't give a fuck what anybody else is doing. If I did, then it would, if I did, let's think about this. If I cared about that, and if I had no motion, or I wasn't worth anything, then the easier route would have been for me to jump on the current meta and jump on the momentum. Bottom line. If anything, I'm going against the grain, right? Like, some people will look at it and say, like, he's going against the grain. He's going against the meta. Think about it. Smart people get it. Dumb people don't. That's it. Y'all judge everything by numbers? Go for it. Judge things by number. I don't look at charts. I don't stare at them all day long. Oh my God. Start blowing on my screen like, go up. No. I don't do that. Welcome to the breakdown. Let's go ahead and quickly look at what Polymarket got. What's Polymarket going on? You know where I'm going with this one. I want to look at. By the way, Messi's the GOAT. Messi is the GOAT. Bah. 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 The GOAT. Messi's the GOAT. This man is the GOAT. I don't want to hear it. I like RS7. I like Messi is the GOAT. I'm going to say it again. The GOAT. The GOAT. Okay, let's look at the Democratic presidential nominees. I couldn't talk yesterday because Rob was on some crazy shit yesterday, man. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking about. But here you go. Here's the presidential. Let me get this out of the way. Obviously, Polymarket is the sponsor of this show. I'm happy that they are because now we can look at this. We have Gavin Newsom, who is still in the lead here. Gavin Newsom is still in the lead here. 20%. 20%. Gavin Newsom is 20%. 20% likely, apparently, to become the Democratic presidential nominee. Second, you got AOC, 14%. John Ossoff, 12%. He's up 8%. And Kamala Harris, 7%. I don't think the Democratic Party wants Kamala. I really don't. Who else is running for the Democrats? Let's see. Dwayne The Rock Johnson he's at 1%. You got Stephen A. Smith at 1%. Mark Cuban at 1%. Who else is here? Barack Obama, who can't run again, 1%. Oprah, 1%. Hillary, 1%. Kim Kardashian at 1%. George Clooney. LeBron James. Again, you could check all these things out. There's multiple things that you can check out on Polymarket and gauge instant interest. Instant interest. And instant data on Polymarket. So shout out to Polymarket, the official prediction market sponsor of the DG brand. Somebody said, oh, I can't repeat it. I'm gonna get banned from TikTok. That shit was funny though. I ain't gonna front. I can't repeat it though. That was hilarious, man. Yo, Tech, what's going on? I haven't looked in the chat. What's going on, Tech? Yo, we gotta get back. We gotta get TikTok back to 500, 600. because obviously they've been limiting my viewership. I did speak to them. They apologized, but then another staff member was like, yeah, I can't say that, my bros, man. Y'all gonna get me kicked off of TikTok. And you know, I say anything, man. If you tune into the show, I say anything. I want to say it so bad, too. I want to say it so bad. I really do. I'm itching to say it. Anyway, we'll be right back after this commercial break. Y'all want to talk crypto? Y'all want me to buy some more shit? Y'all want to talk crypto? Let's talk crypto. Retweet, reshare, repost, whatever. Share this around. We'll be right back.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh, wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome back to the program. We are 35 minutes over. We're 35 minutes over our time. I don't know. I was looking in the mirror. I was like, yo, like, I want to grow out my hair. But then I can't grow out my hair long. But I've been like growing it out. I have to go and stop by my barber today. I've been growing it out because I've been like obviously training and shit. I grew out the beard a bit more. I need to shave that shit. It's kind of like when Sylvester Stallone was working out in Russia. That's what it reminded me when he went to fight Drago in Russia, and he was growing out his hair, like grew out his hair, his beard, like that. I'm on that mindset. Well, I was like, man, I can't. I gotta shave this, man. It's too much. I remember I grew out my beard. Like, I had a big beard at one time. I had a really big beard at one point. Yeah, for sure. Though I fuck with the long hair. I can't front. Like, I've had long hair. I've had long hair. But when you start doing this and you start putting on a suit and you become professional, you got to have a professional haircut. Okay, you have to have a professional haircut. You can't have long hair. Okay, it can't happen. My long hair is curly. Like, I have curly hair, wavy, curly, whatever. Man, I can't have long hair because then I look like I'm a part of a grunge band. Look like I'm a part of the Foo Fighters. Everlong. There goes my hero. Watch him as he goes. There goes my hero. I need to see, again, I'm writing this down. I need big energy. I need to see the energy. I remember I'm going to say this again. Day one energy is different than today's energy. I need to see the energy. I need to see excitement. I need to feel the electricity. Okay, I can't be the only one that is like, pumped full of fucking electricity. Like, it has to be everybody, and everybody like wants it as bad as me or worse than me. Like, it needs to be that type of vibe. I'm serious about the head of culture, man. Anybody who gets creates a title for their protocol with the head of culture will win next cycle. I mean that. I 100% mean that. Head of culture, it will be necessary for every chain. And watch it happen. I'm not going to get credit for it. As usual, I feel like Rodney Dangerfield. I don't get respect. Okay? Let's look at what my wallet has here on pump.fun. How many followers now? 343 followers. What the fuck? What is that? What is that? Yeah, Michael, unfortunately, politics, it's unfortunate. I'm not a big fan of the Clarity Act, but I understand it. To not be able to pass something like this is absolutely crazy. That's all. It's just, this is what our current country looks like. We can't pass anything. We can't pass nothing. And they think they're working for the American people. They're not. That is not working for the American people. You're working against us. Okay? You're squabbling. Okay? Your hatred for the president, your hatred for that party and this party, you're hurting the American people. That's who you're hurting. That's it. Okay? You're not doing anything good for the American people. You're hurting the American people. And I'm talking to both sides now. I'm talking to both sides, respectfully. It is time to come to the fucking table and to get shit done in America. And it's time, to get rid of special interests and lobbyists, okay? And it's time to go back to an era where you have politicians working for the American people. Okay, if I ever ran for office again, I'd be working for the American people and not for big pharma and all these fucking cocksuckers that do absolutely nothing for Americans. It's time to work for us. I don't give a fuck what you are. Republican, Democrat, Independent, Libertarian. It is time that you work for us. If I didn't vote for you, you still work for me. So start working. I'm so fucking tired of seeing this shit over and over and over again. Work for us. I'm tired of money going elsewhere. If we are not making interest on that money, I don't want money being printed and sent somewhere else. I want the American people being taken care of. It's America first from the standpoint, take care of us first. Take care of our infrastructure. Fix the fucking roads. Take care of the people that are suffering out there, really suffering, and take benefits away from people that aren't. Fix this shit here. And get rid of the fucking Fed. How about that? That hasn't been said in a long time. Fucking tired of this shit, man. We take care of everybody else and not ourselves. Fucking, we're paying for all this stuff. I got these fucking bastards, man. Special interests running. And some of the special interests, they ain't American. Shout out to everybody who tuned into the breakdown. We went overtime. We'll be back tomorrow, Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I might throw a space on today. I might come back on a live show today after I work out and train. I might go ahead and go ape shit. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm feeling some sort of way today. But shout out to everybody who tuned in. I appreciate you guys for the continued support, whether it's from TikTok, YouTube, Kick, Getter. Shout out to Getter. I know that's more political. X. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting me. I appreciate you. Maybe we bring on Michael. We break down politics. I don't know. Have a great day, guys. And an even better tomorrow. That's my boy, Big Unk.